Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. We've had server meshing tests running and more are going to be running later today. Star Citizen Alpha 3.24 has been announced and there is a load of new FPS weapons coming to the game. Let's jump in. There was a server meshing efficiency playtest. This was run on the 20th of June and it was a multi-hour playtest on the tech preview servers for server meshing. Anyone that has a Star Citizen game package should have access to the tech preview when it's running, for the most part, unless CIG say otherwise. This was basically just confined to the Stanton system at this stage. In fact, you could select the Pyro system to spawn into, but it would brick your account and you'd have to reset your account to get back in. So don't select Pyro unless CIG tell you otherwise. They have split each shard up into 3 different servers for the Stanton playtest of server meshing and around 200 players each mesh. They were testing performance and looking for data to help optimize that for the future. It was actually running an older 3.22.x build because they wanted to compare some of the updates they had made to previous server meshing tests that they had done. After the playtest had ended, CIG did put out a little post. We are just about to take down the tech preview test for tonight. The new hardware was working great, but we found an issue with code that isn't working correctly tonight and caused some mesh deadlocks, which will require a new build. We're looking to attempt another run at this tomorrow, which actually is going to be around 3 PM UTC, with a different build that shouldn't have the same issues. Thank you all so much for testing with us. Also, during the test, you would get pulled out of quantum travel when moving between servers, and you couldn't accept missions across different game servers, things like that. So lots of these bugs that they're trying to solve and get data on, and then just try to generally optimize the amount of players that can be in each server and have the mesh servers as high concurrency as possible. I'm expecting them to run lots of these server tests with different configurations for the shards and them to test out the Pyro system as well at some point during the test cycle. It is always going to be worth looking at the patch notes and playtest information before you jump into the playtest, because they might say, this will break your account, or this is what we want tested specifically, or do this to actually get in. But yeah, if you want to get involved with those tests, there is more at 3 PM today, Friday the 21st of June. There was an Inside Star Citizen. Inside Star Citizen has returned, and this was with the weapon content team, but they did give us a few other little bits of information which I'll go over before we see those 4 new weapons, or 4 weapons that are coming to the persistent universe at some point, potentially in 4.0. So the big focus is on 3.23.2, which is actually now called 3.24, but more on that later, and then they're sort of going to be focusing on 4.0. Inside Star Citizen is going to be a bit different over the next 3 weeks, they said. So they were talking loads to the weapon content team this time, but next time they're going to be talking to the UK network team, doing a dev diary on server meshing, and then they're going to also be talking to the level design team about Pyro, stuff like that. Regular or typical content should resume around the 11th of July, but you're getting an Inside Star Citizen each week. So the FPS and FPS combat mechanics are a core part of Star Citizen. The weapon content teams make and animate the guns in Star Citizen, but this can also be ship weapons and turrets, but also things like fire extinguishers and the multi-tool as well. Audio and VFX finish off these weapons, helping bring them to life. Player feedback is used to tweak current weapons and improve future ones. CIG showed off 4 weapons that are coming to the persistent universe, and we don't know exactly when, but they're looking pretty close to completion, a lot of them. The P8AR, so this is a big, more aggressive version of the P4AR, which is in game. It's basically a big bearing assault rifle, and the military version, the standard version, is made for Squadron 42 in mind. They're going to be making a civilian version 1 available in the persistent universe, which is a bit lighter, slightly less aggressive looking. They redesigned the stock. The military version is being held back for Squadron 42 as it's a sort of standard issue UE Navy weapon, but also a hero weapon for the game. I suspect you'll be able to get them in Star Citizen in some way in the future, though. There's the Volt Parallax Rifle, so lots of people wanted the Volt Electron weapons for a while. Volt make electric and beam type weapons that are powered by batteries. They're very techy, but with a hint of being homemade, sort of high-tech, but not necessarily the most reliable or safe-looking, something that could be maintained by hand by yourself, field repaired. You could order it as a kit and kind of build it yourself. It's a shiny, cool beam weapon that takes a second to spin up where it's sort of like firing projectile type rounds and then becomes a beam. There's the Pyro SMG, which is a very small machine pistol, like a Tech 9 in real life, basically built from spare parts. It's not really made by any commercial manufacturer, it's just kind of put together in Pyro by gangs there or whatever. It's going to be great in close quarters combat situations, very short, allows you to sort of get very close to corners and fire around, peek, pew pew pew. They made it look a bit like a beam weapon in some of the angles where they were firing it in the Inside Star Citizen, but I believe it's just got a very high rate of fire. It is a projectile-based weapon. And to the joy of many, they also showed off the Ultraflex Novia crossbow. So apparently Chris asked recently if they were going to get it finished and in-game, and they've been working on it. They needed to have the bolts sort of be able to expand and deploy, because they sort of want it high tech, and you not to have like a quiver, but you put these small bolts in and they expand into actual proper arrows or bolts. They also needed the projectiles to be able to launch from it. It's looking great. It potentially has explosive bolts or electric bolts as well, potentially different types of ammo. It's very cool. Alpha 3.24 is a thing. CIG said, with Alpha 3.23.1 out the door, our team has shifted focus to closing out what we had previously called Alpha 3.23.2. During internal testing of the upcoming patch, we've determined that its substantial updates justify labeling it as version 3.24. This change in version number doesn't indicate any changes to the patch itself or any future patches. Rather, it aligns with what we consider to be a major update. We're excited for you to experience additions such as freight elevators, storage access previously known as item banks, personal and instanced hangars, new cargo hauling missions, and more, all of which aim to make a lasting impact on the verse. You will soon see the updated version in the launcher as we release the Evocati and PTU builds and corresponding feedback threads. Additionally, this adjustment will be reflected on the roadmap, which will be updated next week. There was also a little post on Reddit I saw with someone saying maybe this means item recovery will be back on the table. And Xylo actually responded to this. While this feature isn't releasing in Alpha 3.24, item recovery is still coming and super important to us. We want to be sure that this comes online in a way that's great rather than implementing it in a short-term solution. The team is currently developing it as part of a larger system that we'll share more about at CitizenCon. So yeah, that has me very excited. I'm very pro CitizenCon. I'm looking forward to going there and seeing all the new stuff, and there's going to be some amazing announcements. And the wider system they're talking about, I don't actually know what it could connect to. I suppose it could be a more up-to-date insurance system and recovery system in general, also connecting to the sort of unique item recovery. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, that's your updates for today. Are you excited by Alpha 3.24? There might be some other little surprises with that patch, like new ships and vehicles, maybe some interesting other missions and bits and bobs. That should be going to the Evocati potentially for this weekend, I believe. When do you think we're going to see those new FPS weapons, and which ones did you like, if any? I think they're all actually pretty cool, and I like the fact that there's some very different feeling weapons, but also some powerful traditional feeling ones. The P8AR, I think it's going to become one of my favourites very quickly. And did you get involved with the server meshing tests? What was that like for you? Are you going to be trying to get involved with them later today? And if so, tell me about your experiences there. Whatever your thoughts or questions, I would love to hear from you in the comments below. And also, something that's in the comments and down below are links to things like nordvpn.com/BoredGamer, giving you a discount on the best darn VPN we've ever discussed on this video. It gives you better accessibility, privacy, and security on the interwebs. I use it. It's part of my security toolkit. Super important. Really like it. Big discounts below. And also, in Star Citizen, you might have gone, I don't use my eyes enough. Well, Tobii Eye Tracker, that's on sale at the moment, and that will give you natively supported high precision eye and head tracking in Star Citizen as well. Very, very useful. Click the links below. Do it! Every month we have a ship giveaway, and for June we are giving away a Freelancer Miss, which is a fantastic little multi-crew missile boat. We're also bundling this with a Pulse, the little tiny bike with the big laser on it. You'll get lifetime insurance on both of those and a Star Citizen game package. So all you need to play Star Citizen, all you need to do to be in for a chance of winning that is comment on any of my videos made during June. good luck to you. Also, if you want to further support the channel, please consider clicking the join button under my videos. It really does help. There's also Patreon on loads of affiliate links and stuff like that down below in the video description and in the comments, so check those out, and that helps the channel out too. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great June. Thank you for watching to the end, and don't forget to click all the things down below, or at least the things you want to click on.